Neyo stands his ground. He stood his ground against the LGBTQ community. Now let's go into exactly what happened. And I'm so glad that Neyo is standing on the square and not letting these folks get to him, because I felt him 110%. Now, let's see what started this, because I don't see anything Neyo said that was wrong. It happened from a Vlad TV interview, and this is fair use, by the way. I'm going to play a clip of what Neyo said.
What the role of a parent is.
Amen.
It's like, okay,
Lost control.
if your little boy comes to you and says, Daddy, I want to be a girl, and you just let him rock with that, you just let,
right.
He's 5.
Right. And where did he get that
if
from?
If you let this 5-year-old boy decide to eat candy all day, he's going to do that.
Exactly.
Like, when did it become a good idea to let a 5-year-old, let a 6-year-old, let a 12-year-old make a life-changing decision for themselves?
Right.
When did that happen?
Right.
Like, I don't understand that.
Fair use, by the way. I agree with that. Let me play some more.
I don't get that.
And to medicate these young kids that are 5, 6 growing up and knowing that it affects their brain, it affects their organs, it makes them sick, but they're not allowed to do drugs, they're not allowed to do alcohol.
Right.
But we can medicate them.
He can't drive a car yet, but he can decide his sex.
Right, right. What sexual orientation, and he can cut off his pee-pee, and that, to me, that makes no sense whatsoever.
So I don't know if this is true, but I heard a rumor that they either passed or are trying to pass a law in LA that states if your child comes to you and asks to do some of these things and you say no, they can take your kid from you.
Yeah, that's true. Just
okay, all right. So I'll play that. If you want to see the rest of that, you go visit Vlad TV, go to his platform and look at it. But that's what Neyo said. That's what Neyo said, amongst other things, right? So after seeing that, do you feel like Neyo said anything wrong? Do you feel that Neyo said anything wrong? Let me know in the comment section what you think. So let's go to Jason Lee. Jason Lee caught wind of this, and others, of course, in the LGBT community got offended by what Neyo said. Now, Neyo said other things as well, like basically saying, just because, you're transgender or whatever, and you want to live your life a certain way, you shouldn't force that on me and write and I'm paraphrasing what he said, but write in a rule book of what you want to do or who you want to be. You could be a goldfish, but that don't mean that I have to address you as a goldfish. And that struck a nerve with Jason Lee. But this is what Jason Lee had to say in his response. I'm not going to play the whole thing. Shout out to this gentleman's page, whoever this page is. But Jason Lee called out Neyo, TK Kirkland, and Gloria Velez, her fine self. And this is what he had to say a little bit.
But you leaving your... Hold on, let me get to it. So I saw this earlier, and Neyo, yes, I got your number, but you didn't think of calling me as a consultant before you said this dumb shit, so I'm going to address you straight on. Because people said that you were a homosexual. People say you were ugly. People talked about you. You gained a little weight. They say you fat. Okay, you ain't wrote a song like the Beyonce song in a minute, so the people say you fell off, but I never hated on you. Even in Dubai, I showed you love. I always show you love. I text you good wishes, but you're talking about parenting. You the same. Okay, this is what you said in the interview. You said this.
All right, so that was just, a few seconds of nothing, let's keep listening.
On camera. And yeah, maybe you apologize, but I don't give a get to the internet fast enough. So here we are. And I gotta say this is an example for everybody watching, because when people, when police officers kill unarmed black men, they do it and see if you will stand down. And if you stand back and stand down, they keep doing it. So it's not permissible. So that's why I'm assigning names. In an interview with this girl, Gloria Velez, and I'll address you in a second too, you said you have no issues with the LGBTQIA. When you say that before you even say another word, that is your disclaimer to tell us the issues that you have.
Okay, no. He was asked a question and he answered it. Let's keep listening, because I'm about to turn it off, but let me just keep going a little bit.
That's like when white people say, I ain't got no problems with, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. And now we're about to hear them. You go on and say, love who you love, do what you do. I just personally come from an era where a man was a man and a woman is a woman, and there were only 2 genders. Now, you could identify as a goldfish if you feel like, but I don't care. That ain't my business. It becomes my business when you try to make me play the game with you. I'm not going to call you a goldfish. Then you went on to say, We need to go back to the old days. I feel like parents have almost forgotten what role of a parent is. If your little boy comes to you and says, Daddy, I want to be a girl, and you just let him rock like that, he's 5. Let the 5-year-old boy decide to eat candy all day, what he's going to do. I'm not even going to read no more. First of all, your number one job as a parent is to stay with your family, but you cheated on your wife with them strippers and had them babies on her, and then you left your family. So,
okay. I can't take no more. All right. So, out of all that blabber that he did, look immediately what Jason Lee did. Jason Lee went to personal attacks. What does Neyo doing anything with his wife, cheating on his wife, doing whatever, have to do with what he actually said? He said that I don't believe that children should make those altering decisions at an early age. Children. Sex changes, identifying as a different gender, they're not old enough to drink, they're not old enough to drive. What did Neyo say that was wrong? But you see what Jason Lee did, and I could keep playing what Jason Lee said, but what he was doing was taking personal jabs, talking about Gloria Velez. You're not a video vixen anymore. Taking shots at TK Kirkland, but that's another story. But taking shots at Neyo of what he said. So if you're going against what Neyo said, you're defending a child making altering decisions at a very early age. That's what you're doing, because you're taking personal shots. In the beginning of the video, which I didn't play, Jason Lee was talking, I could air out everybody's dirty laundry and whatever. That has nothing to do with what you have an issue with Neyo for. Like, my thing is, if you got a problem with what he said, address that. But when you start talking about people taking personal jabs, talking about what people do and how you can expose people, I don't care. Guess what? You're saying that Neyo, people talked about him being gay, whatever. I wouldn't care if Neyo was gay. I wouldn't care if a gay person, transgender person, whatever person said what Neyo said, because I agree with it. It don't matter about your racial, what your race group is. It doesn't matter about your sexual orientation. If you say as a person, I don't agree with a child making a life-altering decision at an early age, such as a sex change or transgender, identifying with a different gender, I'm going to agree with you. And you shouldn't throw personal jabs. Jason Lee did some whole shit with that. Real talk. Aaron trying to go in on somebody, talk about somebody because they don't agree with you. But one thing I love what Neyo did, and I'm sure, he's been getting a lot of scrutiny, a lot of backlash, because, anytime you say something about someone in that particular community or that particular community, you give your opinion about them, all hell breaks loose. We've seen that happen numerous times. So let's see the profound way that Neyo responded to all the people who had issues with him. Listen to this.
What's going on, loved ones? This is Neyo. All right, listen. I normally don't give too much of a damn about what y'all think about what I do, what y'all have to say about what I say, whatever. I normally don't care because, like I said, opinions ain't special. Everybody got one. However, this is something I feel very strongly on, and I need y'all to hear this from the horse's mouth, not the publicist's computer. So check this out. First and foremost, I do not apologize for having an opinion on this matter. I am a 43-year-old heterosexual man raising 5 boys and 2 girls, okay? That's my reality. Now, if my opinion offended somebody, yeah, sure, I apologize for you being offended because that wasn't my intention. My intention is never to offend anybody. However, I'm entitled to feel how I feel. I'm absolutely entitled to feel how I feel the same way you are entitled to feel how you feel. I ain't asked nobody to follow me. I ain't asked nobody to agree with me. I was asked a question and I answered the damn question, okay? I have no beef with the LGBTQ plus community whatsoever. I ain't got no beef with y'all. Do whatever the hell it is you want to do. Do what you want to do with your kids. However, somebody asked my opinion on this matter, and this is how I feel. I will never be okay with allowing a child to make a decision that detrimental to their life. I will never be okay with that. I don't care. I definitely plan to educate myself a little bit more on this matter. However, I doubt that there's any book anywhere or any opinion that somebody's going to tell me that's going to make me okay with letting a child make a decision like that. That's just period, point blank, and that's how I feel. If I get canceled for this, then you know what? Maybe this is a world where they don't need a Neyo no more.
Bars, 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 bars. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Standing on what you believe in, standing on what you said, not being bullied to conform with what people want you to do, how they want you to think, how they want you to feel, because this has been happening time and time again. You can't express yourself. You can't, if somebody asks you a question, you can't give your opinion. Now, of course, some people give shitty opinions. That's for you to disagree with or feel how you feel. But he just simply answered a question. And he didn't say anything wrong. He didn't say nothing wrong. But see, what usually happens is when, people, you say something about that community that people don't like, then they scrutinize you and ridicule you and all this other stuff, and you're forced to apologize. We've seen it happen with the baby and a bunch of other folks too. But Neyo stood his ground, and I rock with Neyo. I support Neyo in that instance right there. Because you deal with so much. People try to attack your character and all this other stuff, but it's like, he doesn't have a problem with him. That's what he's saying. I don't have a problem with how you do your thing, but you can't tell me how to feel the way I do. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me how to feel the way I feel, or my opinions don't matter, or you want me to answer it in your way. But I support Neyo. I support him. That's what you call standing in your square, standing your ground, and not being bullied. We too grown for that, man. That's a grown ass man with children. I'm a grown ass man. And if somebody asks me an opinion like that, I'm sorry if it offends you in that way, but that's how I feel. That's how I want to raise my kids. That's just like me going against a Jehovah's Witness because of what they believe in. And they get mad at me. I'm like, well, no, you worship God the way you want to worship God. I can worship God the way I want to worship God. Now, if I start talking shit about you, then that's a whole different story. But he wasn't talking shit about nobody. Neyo stood his ground, and I appreciate him. I appreciate him 110%. So, the biggest thing that we have to do is support these celebrities, or support these people. You don't have to be a celebrity, but when someone's in the public light like that and you agree with them, support them. Because the most profound thing he said was that if you want to cancel me, guess what? Maybe the world don't need a Neyo. I'm a hustler. I'm gonna be all right. That's what I'm talking about. So I rock with Neyo because of that. All right, so let's move.